29, look at Neptune at 29, part of this kite, this beautiful, beautiful kite we have in the chart. Hello, hello, hello. Taffy, come on now. Stop messing around. We got work to do. Yeah. Come on, I need you to back it. Get that. Oh, Lord. Make up your mind. Which way are you going? There you go. May 13th, the astrology for May 13th. This is going to be the next 7 days, okay? Mercury clears its shadow zone. So we're going to take a look at where it is on the chart. If you haven't seen the Mercury retrograde videos to better understand, what sign it is and just what does Mercury mean anyway. You see I have the word redo zone written down. Let me see if we can mark this chart up. Redo written down. So it's the redo zone. Mercury clears it. So Mercury typically represents options and choices. Like we might have to make a decision with Mercury when it's in a retrograde. There might be, even if it's not a decision and choices and options, we normally we're redoing something. And if we're not redoing, we're going back to a place we've already been, whether it's in a book or reviewing paperwork, a physical location, because Mercury can be your trip. You're riding in the car or you're walking somewhere local. It's that back and forth stuff. I remember not too long ago, a sibling concerned of a move they were doing during a Mercury retrograde, moving house, having some of that back and forth stuff happening because the papers were already signed. It came down to really, I think, being more about the physical part, the back and forth. Oh, did we get everything? Do we got to double check? Do we got to go, exchange keys or hand keys in or sign a dotted line or whatever? We're kind of going back to our area where we used to live or work or whatever it is. But Mercury can be your day-to-day people that you see and that you converse with and plans and tracking and keeping track of the data, basically. And whether it's statistics, Mercury's known as a writer, right? The scribe. So Mercury clearing that shadow zone, the redo zone, meaning I'm not driving back and forth as much as I was, or I'm not looking at stuff that I was going over yet for a third or fourth time. Many times we recommend not to make major decisions during Mercury retrogrades. And if you can't delay it, you employ a professional. So on this day, May 13th, Mercury hits that spot, that perfect spot of ending the shadow zone. So there's Mercury. Yep, 27 degrees. And that's where the retrograde began. Now, knowing about the sign, Aries energy. Oh, Taffy's still in here. I heard her sneeze. Bless you, baby girl. As soon as I turned, she ran. All right, so we think of impulsive, we think of impatient, we think of very fiery, fired up, combative energy, fighting war. Yeah, Aries energy loves, it's Mars, was made for war, was born to go to battle. Now, I'm looking at Mars because Mercury clears the shadow zone. Kind of got to look at them together. So there's Mars at 10 degrees, and look, it is conjunct Salacia. The previous week's video, I probably made a quick mention to this. Salacia can be that dreamy energy. It can also make something look fuzzy or confusing or maybe even sleepy, dreamy, and fantasy-like, because Salacia has a strong similarity to Neptune energy. Salacia is feminine energy, so a female version of Neptune in war, Aries, right? So we become a little less assertive, a little less aggressive when we have that Salacia energy, or things are at least confusing. And sometimes, trying to look at something through a bottle of water, it's almost like it changes the shape, it changes its appearance. And that's a big deal with Aries. So the appearance of the war, the appearance of soldiers, the appearance of, having that fight face where I'm coming on with a strong presence, likely to change because Mars is conjunct at 10. You see, 10 degrees, Mars is conjunct. Mars is not super fast or super slow. So we'll see how long this lasts. But I will say this, that Mars touching on Salacia, Neptune at 29, but we'll go into details about it later. Neptune at 29, look at Neptune at 29, part of this kite, this beautiful, beautiful kite we have in the chart. You see that? So 29 degrees is super significant this week. So Mars being here at 10, talking about war, this matters because of a lot of things. Keep Jupiter in mind, and hopefully I can remember to tie it together for you at the end. Even if I don't say those exact words, just remember Jupiter, because Jupiter, the ancient ruler of Pisces. So Jupiter is prevalent this week. And Mars will shortly, as this week goes on, Mars, after it reaches 10, it'll move and it will touch 13, 14 degrees. And that's where the North Node in Aries is. The North Node is all about my future, our future. The future of what? Our appearance, our freedoms, our physical body, body autonomy, identity, my identity, literally. And it could be the future of fighting, the future of the war, the future of wars or genocide. People are using different words, conflict. In some places, it's absolutely not a conflict. There's just straight off abuses and murder and killings and like a genocide happening. So something likely to change this week for sure, at least the news for sure. And it could have to do with the face of the war and how that looks. Okay. We'll go a little bit more into detail because Mercury is going to move. This is kind of how the week starts off, but that's not all. On the 13th, it's not just Mercury at 29, right? On the 13th, we also have the sun up in the sky in Taurus with Uranus, which is, I didn't put the symbol conjunct Uranus, and that's the symbol that I should have put conjunct. So the sun is an authority figure. So is Uranus. These are both people who are persons of authority. They're the boss. They're the goat. They're the CEO. They're the person in charge. If it's in Taurus, it's about our values. What do we value in your home? The values of your money, the values of what is mine, my bank account, right? To put it on a personal level, we got to go find our Taurus energy. There it is, the sun and Uranus conjunct right at 23 degrees to start this week off. Now, what I will say is on last week's video, the 22 degrees, well, actually 22 degrees of Taurus has been a big deal. We've been talking about it. It keeps coming up in a lot of different ways in the charts. So this is a Monday, right? Which means the weekend before this. So that would be the 12th, the 11th, the 10th. This is when the sun was getting close to Uranus. And I'm saying it like this. I'm backtracking a little bit, and I kind of want to specify this because Uranian energy, the planet Uranus, can be different, to say the least. To say the least about Uranus, it's the word different. Different, unconventional, exciting, electric. We even think of values and doing things that are unconventional and different, and money and finances, money in the bank and banking, unconventional. We know that Uranus energy is technology. So you've heard me in the past talking about whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto, just digital assets or whatever, however they claim. I don't know if they speak of them as assets exactly, how they, yeah, I'm not an economist, so just take the little bits that I am trying to weave in for you guys to understand the current astrology and how it makes sense in the everyday world. Basically, practical astrology, while weaving in, of course, some of the esoteric and deep stuff. But we got to see, okay, why does this matter? Well, Taurus is your money, your income, your love, your desire, how I receive, self love, value, self worth. Do I love myself? Surprises and shocks. So there might be something here. Now, if we have two people who are authority figures and in charge of something, and we think money, and we think earth and natural resources, because that's Taurus energy, I think the planet. I also think of Venus. All right, I got Venus over here. Venus is all about wanting peace, but at the same time, peace has been kind of difficult with Uranus going through it, because Uranus is another key word for Uranus is disruptions. surprises, shocks. Its job is to be the awakener. That's its job. So, with all of that said, we think of advancements in technology. We think of challenges to the technology, resistance to change, resistance to technology. This can also be something as simple as interest rates. Yeah. I'm recording this video and I'm in the very beginning of April. So a lot by time you see this video, a lot may have changed. Deep change and transformation within the global monetary makeup, the global monetary system, and the shifts and the nuances that are happening, and some of the things that have already started to happen. Mercury goes from 27 to 29 within one day. That's normal. The 13th and the 14th, with Mercury nearing that critical degree, and these, you know, authority figures with money, there could be surprises. 13th, 14th, and 15th. Mars on the 14th, Mars is conjunct the North Node. You heard me mention that already. I showed it to you already. Mars wasn't quite near the node yet, but I talked about the future and the future of war, the face of war, the physical, the body, the soldiers, the Marines, and how that's going to likely be in the news, because this energy, all of this here, it's kind of all happening at the same time. You see, it's kind of happening at the same time. So when we change our values, Taurus, our values, when we change our values, we can change alliances, allegiances. We can change where we funnel or channel our resources. Not just when I say we, I'm just not speaking about just the United States, other countries, right? You heard about China changing their things up, which, yeah, they're basically just kind of giving the United States a taste of their own medicine, right? When it comes to technology. Yeah. So this energy, because Mars is involved, can be quite impulsive at times. The good news is that Mars is not at 29 degrees. It's Aries, so the news, the media, things that we're hearing about. Remember, Aries energy is what we're going to be hearing about. Aries is also about starting something, initiating something. It doesn't always have to be about, I'm in war trying to kill somebody. And the North Node is in Aries. And so this has been a huge theme for the last few years, and especially, it seems like this year, different people all over the world, different cultures saying, what the hell, man, recognize us. We are a people too. We're human like you. So that conjunction happens right there at like 14 degrees. Mars and the North Node will be conjunct at like 14, 15 degrees. So if I think about like the 14 and the 15 degree and the bigger, better understanding, well, that number right there, we already know is familiar, don't we? Because it's part of that giant, great cardinal cross that we've been in. And now Mars has joined that damn party. Oh my God. So it's been difficult, but Mars usually represents an action is now going to be taken. So there has been, there's just been this giant T square or a great cross in the chart with all the cardinal energies. Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. We've seen it in the United States where they can't get bills passed, they can't agree on anything, and a self-destruction some of the parties are literally just self-destructing and throwing each other under the bus or whatever you want to say. So it's almost like, what's left? Who's left? Everything kind of like blew up in a sense. And I don't mean like a bomb. I don't mean like that blowing up. I just mean there's been so much stress and tension and frustration and so just difficult times. And normally after those difficult times, though, people tend to wear down. Taffy is messing with me. Can you hear her digging her claws on the back of the chair now? She is trying to just mess with me. So the energy wears down over time, right? If we were to draw a great square, okay, what happens is when you're dealing with square energy and you keep dealing with it, and I know it's like it keeps getting bigger because I'm trying to make it actually look like a square instead of a rectangle, and I don't seem to be succeeding. There we go. That's a little bit more squarish looking. So with this square, what happens is over time, these corners, these points, these 4 points that you get from those 90-degree angles, they get worn down. Over time, they get worn down. Over time, they get worn down, and what happens when they get worn down? Those edges end up disappearing. Yeah, they end up disappearing. And look what happens when the edges end up disappearing. What ends up being created? Yeah, you see this? What ends up being created, I know this is a really rough kind of a thingamajigger here. It's not the best example or the best way I could have done this, but you get the idea. It ends up becoming a circle, you see, because the edges get worn down. They just get worn down over time, and you end up with this circle. Yeah, and so with the circle, well, that's considered a divine shape. It's whole, it's complete, it's a divine shape. Some say that is the shape of creator, literally, right? Think of the sun up in the sky. In astrology, this is the shape. It's a circle, but it does have a dot in the middle of it. Another circle, a circle within a circle, right? That's the shape on the astrology chart. So we're on the 15th, and guess what? Mercury's now in Taurus. This is interesting. Mercury in Taurus. Remember, Taurus wants beauty. Think of peace. Think of goodness. Think of the earth. Yeah, Taurus energy. It can be really stubborn, but it's about my values. And if Mercury is there, are we hearing about peace? Is peace in the news? There's something for certain here. If it's not peace, it's absolutely values. It's absolutely money. It can be news about banking. What? What's going on? Tough enough? Huh? Mufasa, what's going on? So Mercury and the earth, and when Mercury enters Taurus energy, it's a 0 degrees Taurus. And there's a lot in the chart going on here. We got Pluto at 2 degrees in a fixed sign. Can you see Pluto here? We got Pluto at 2. Yeah, you see? Well, this is fixed air. Yeah, mass transportation, technology. Uranus rules this sign, Aquarius. So Mercury is starting to square Pluto. Communications about difficult stuff. When I say difficult, it's really more about powerful, intense communications. Some people could be upset by that. Some people are like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about that. It's too tragic. I can't handle that trauma. I can't like, so difficult in that way. Mercury squaring Pluto. Sometimes we have an intense desire for learning. Mercury, I love to learn, teach. Mercury is the internet. It is automobiles, but it's taking in information and sharing it back out again. Text messages, email, snail mail, social media, news. What's in the news? Mercury's a lot of things, right? Your postal workers, your local community, business and trade, stock market, Mercury. Housing market, Mercury. Think about that. The markets in general, Mercury. All right. So Mercury squaring Pluto. Interesting. We'll see what that turns out to be. Then we go to the 17th. This is a big week, guys. Big week. The sun is conjunct Jupiter at the same time that Venus is conjunct Uranus. We start to feel this 15th, 16th, 17th. It starts to become a really big deal. Authority figure, the sun. Jupiter is also an authority figure. This is all in Taurus, by the way. This is all in Taurus energy. So without a doubt, we're hearing something about finances and money, likely banking, most likely things of value, people, what and who we value. Remember, it's desire, energy, food, the planet, the earth, the water. What do we value exactly, right? And paying attention to how the changes in the weather patterns of the planet have major increases in costs of living, because it's made a huge difference in the insurance for my car, the insurance for the home, the insurance for wherever it is that you live, insurances in general. The dark blue triangle is in Earth, 22, 23 degrees. We have a triangle, a trine energy in Earth, which is very stabilizing energy, needs, essentials. Yep, 22 degrees. Black moon Lilith, the moon, they're all going to be there. We still have Juno in Virgo energy. This is taking care of the things like food and water and clothing and hygiene. When we combine Jupiter and Neptune energy in there, it comes down to substances, medications, right? People who are sick, hospitals that have been destroyed in these locations where there's fighting, and just to call it war is it just really belittles what's actually happening. That takes us to this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful kite. So the beautiful kite in the chart is made up of earth and water. Earth and water. So, what I want to say about that is that some people think, because there's positive and negatives to everything, right? So, we have to kind of be aware of that. And we got to always make sure that we're pointing that out. Just like when I say trine, a trine makes something easily happen. So, many times, not so good things happen. Somebody just has an ease at doing something, and it might not, it could be harmful to somebody else, right? But somehow it just easily happened. Or something really wonderful, because what I perceive as wonderful, you may not perceive as wonderful, right? Now, for kite energy, I've got a video on the channel that really simplifies kite energy down, because many of you have kites in your chart. It is a very special energy. Some of you have sent me umpteen messages about how you have kites just going all the way around your chart. Yes, I get it. I get it. I see this is this kind of a chart as well. Merkaba, right? You can call it whatever you want, but you can see a kite. There's a kite. There's a kite going like this in this chart. So you see right there, there's that kite. There's this one that I have with the blue, green, and the black. There's multiple charts all the way around. We got 29 degrees in Scorpio. Pallas Athena, the triangle person, or I'm sorry, the diamond head. I'm sorry. Pallas Athena is retrograding. She's going to be conjunct Sappho. It's Scorpio energy. Powerful, powerful. Think Pluto, think Mars, right? It's conjunct the Sappho, feminine energy. The two Venuses, I call them, right? We go to 29 degrees of Pisces, and look, we got Neptune there. Remember what I was saying about Jupiter, right? Jupiter, Neptune, think of that. 29 degrees of Taurus. Well, we know that the sun and Jupiter are conjunct here, right? They're conjunct at 28 degrees together, which means they're touching the 29 degrees. They're more than close enough. You see? 29 degrees again. There's the Estrella. At the beginning of this week, she's at 27. She'll be at 29. Estrella's kind of like a pit bull. Okay. So it's water and earth energy in this particular kite energy that I've got drawn up here. Now, with this kite energy, the thing I want you to keep in mind with water and earth, you can make bricks, right? Yeah. You can make something out of water and earth. You can build something with water and earth energy. Water and earth energy can get things done. So they can assist in some of the stabling energy that has the potential for this week. But without a doubt, anytime we see the mystic rectangle, the Merkaba, and again, there is mystic rectangles in here, the Solomon stars, there's powerful, powerful energies. So you see the big kite, and it might look a little wonky. And that's okay, because there's a lot in Taurus is why it looks wonky. So the thing is, with a kite, I'll put the link for that video below, but with a kite, you always want to focus of the top point of the kite. So if I ask you, where is the top point of this kite? Where is it? Go to my baby kite I have drawn up. The top point of this kite, that's it. That's the top point of this kite. Doesn't matter which direction it's in. What matters is the sign and the degree that it's in. So if we back this chart up, where is it? You see it? I got a small kite and I got a big kite there, but they're showing you the same thing because they're pointing to the same thing, even though they don't look really beautiful. I didn't do the best job in the world. 28, 29 degrees of Taurus, the sun and Jupiter together right here. The sun and Jupiter together right there. Sun and Jupiter together. Taurus, my values, the earth, banking, who I love, what I love. That's the top point of this kite. So what that means is you take all the different energies that we have together and they get funneled and channeled and focused through the top point of your chart. That's where you angle your energy. So you're focusing for these areas of your chart. You're looking up at 27 to 29 degrees of Taurus, 27 to 29 degrees of Cancer, 27 to 29 degrees of Pisces, 27 to 29 degrees of Scorpio. So 27 to 29 degrees of those signs, look to see what houses they fall in your chart. And if you can't see that you have anything, you may have something with asteroids there. There's a change. The point is, look to see where and how to channel and focus that energy. It should be channeled and focused through the top point of that chart, which is at the top point of the kite, which is between 27 and 29 degrees of Taurus. Values. Who do you value? What do you value? Jupiter being there lends to support. And depending upon if Jupiter is your greater benefic in your chart, it could be a bigger deal in some of yours lives than others. So if you don't know those things, if you have questions about a lot of the things that I just mentioned, comment to me, let me know. I can find out if Jupiter is your greater benefic if you don't have the answer to that. What I will add here is 29 degrees in any sign is an extreme degree. Okay? It's a point of power. We can be sure, we can be certain something is changing, something is happening.